Pembleton, you have shaved. Why yes, viewer, I have. I have shaved using a very special tool, and that is a straight razor, or a cutthroat razor, if you like. And this cutthroat razor is extremely exciting because anytime you put it up to your skin, it's so sharp that if you have ended up cutting yourself, you will not notice. But honestly, it's actually pretty worth it. I mean, it saved me a lot of money on using cartridge razors, although I do sometimes occasionally use them for stuff like my armpits, because I don't like sweat. Because of my autism, I don't really like the sensation of sweat, so yeah. That's pretty much the only thing I really use them for, but the rest, I use a cutthroat razor, and it has saved me a good amount of money on, well, razors in general. I actually started off with a safety razor, so one of those double-edged safety razors, and then moved on my way to using a proper, cold, hard piece of steel that I'm still using up to this day. I think I've been using for about 8 years, I believe. I think so. And it's been great. And I've not actually really injured myself. I've had a few cuts, but I got these little cool aluminum matchsticks that I basically put against them after I work my face, and it closes up all the cuts. And it's great. Anyway. How do you do? It is I, Lord Pembleton III. And today I want to talk about an epidemic. An epidemic that is plaguing our roads, our streets, our pavements, and it builds up so much arrogance and self-importance that is genuinely becoming a genuine threat. At least I've had a run-in with them. And of course I'm talking about cyclists. The horror. Now, cyclists are a very peculiar bunch. I don't know how it is like in other places, such as I've heard positive things about cyclists in Norway, but this is Britain, where people don't really tend to follow a lot of rules, and it's kind of like a throw-up of, anything goes on the road kind of shtick. Anyway, so I've had recently I think last week, I've had a really bad experience with one of the cyclists where I was walking, in a busy area where a lot of people are moving. So because again, Oxford is a very tourist-heavy destination, and there's this one street where cars really can't come through, so you just got multiple people moving there, and you'd expect cyclists to kind of get off their bike because of this large traffic of people. But instead, they don't. Very few do. I do occasionally get to see one person get off their bike once in a blue moon, but it's kind of like for every 5 people that keep on riding with their bikes on the pavement, where there's high traffic of people, you get about maybe one person that actually gets off their bike, and actually nearly got trampled. And even though it's not, people will say, but if you get trampled by a car, that's it, bucko. Well, yeah, but also, if you get hit by a bicycle, it's not exactly a walk in the park. You can still die. You can still snap your neck. So, they're riding really quickly on, again, a high-traffic area, and they need to get off their bikes and start walking. But hey, anytime you say anything bad about cyclists, they'll start saying, "Hey, but cars on the road, they're an issue." Listen. Every day, there's an issue where the motorway is either closed, or there has high traffic on the motorway because there's a car driver that was absolutely stupid, and he essentially ruined everything for everybody. But that's one car out of perhaps 1,000. I've only ever seen one car out of every 1,000 cars that is actually completely brain dead. Okay? But that's nothing compared to 5 brain dead cyclists for every, efficient, a person that follows the rules of road etiquette, or pavement etiquette, where just because you're a cyclist does not mean you're the most important person on the road. You don't get any special, ticks up here. Hey, I'm a cyclist. That means I get special treatment. You're not a VIP, okay? But that's the thing. Cyclists think they're the most important people on the streets. In fact, if you're on the pavement, and though you're on the pedestrian area of the pavement, they still expect you to move. They will still say, "Get off the pavement. I need to get on this." It's like, hey, I'm walking here. Okay, you can't just expect to be given the special treatment just because you're on the pavement and you're a cyclist. That does not give you any special permission. Okay, and here's another thing. England, Oxfordshire in general, is a very old sector, a very old city in general, where the cyclist was not really in mind when constructing the area. In fact, it wasn't even constructed very well for carriages. So you can kind of understand that it's not, a lot of areas are not really fit and purpose for cyclists, and if you do want to change that, you're going to have to really reconstruct Oxford from the ground up and destroy a thousand years of history that is older than the Aztec Empire. So do you really want to do that? Because it seems a little bit stupid if you ask me. And usually on the motorway, even though cyclists aren't really allowed on the motorway because, you know, cars are going in excess of 60 miles to 70 miles an hour, you will always find that one cyclist that decides to hold up the entire road because they think they are Evel Knievel, going through it, trying to be the Steve McQueen of the cyclist world, and they don't care. And they'll go into like large bus traffic areas where actually there's one area where cyclists really shouldn't be there because there's a lot of traffic of buses coming in. But you always see that this one lady who thinks she's quick, and she's actually traveling 10 miles an hour on a minimum road that goes 20 miles an hour minimum. But you know, they are the special occasion, and people want more cyclists on the street, and I don't, because they are very dangerous. Majority of cyclists I've encountered are very dangerous people that do not care if there's people on the street, if there's civilians just walking somewhere. So yeah, cyclists, they are pig-headed and they are very dangerous on the streets, and they should not be in areas where there are a lot of high traffic areas where people are walking, and they share the same area of maneuvering where I think you can get what I mean. It's so frustrating. I don't like them. Anyway, thanks for this video. Thanks for this round. Thank you. Bye.